Hi, my name is Brandie Paterakis, and I'm the owner of Blue Bee Counseling Services. I'm a mother and wife who is passionate about life and has found joy in helping others improve their mental health. The goal of this podcast is not only to provide enriching entertainment, but to help others in their pathway to have a more fulfilling life. This in no way is a replacement for therapy. Follow us on this journey of mental health awareness. Blue Bee Counseling Services now presents this podcast, Therapist Table Talk. Thanks for joining us on Therapist Table Talk. Today we are super excited because we're going to be talking about all sorts of fun things such as holidays. We are here at Blue Bee Counseling Services located at South Jordan, Utah, and my name is Brandie Paterakis. I am an LCSW and I love the Halloween time. It is the best time of the year. I'm sorry, I know they say it's Christmas, but Halloween is something special, especially here in Utah. We have this place called Gardner Village and the witches all come out and you get to take pictures and go to breakfast, and I just kind of love it just a little bit. And so that's my holiday. I love it so much. I'm welcome to share. I will share it. But let's hear a little bit of something. I have my friends here with me. Tami, do you want to start with us?
Sure, I'm happy to. My name is Tami and I'm an intern at Blue Bee Counseling Services with Brandie. I am almost finished with my master's program in social work, so that's exciting. And I want to share my favorite holiday.
Yes, heck yeah.
I mean, I think I share it with millions of people maybe, but my favorite holiday is Christmas. I love Christmas because not only at Christmas time do you get, gifts and family activities, but you also get the treats. And I love peppermint and cinnamon, and so those usually come around Christmas. So family time, they have the best treats.
Peppermint and cinnamon. Miranda, how about you?
Okay, so I'm Miranda Neider. I'm also an intern at Blue Bee Counseling. I'm getting my master's in social work as well. I have two favorite holidays because I can't pick between them. I love them for such different reasons. I love Halloween because fall is where I thrive. I love the fall. Like leaves changing, pumpkin, so good. And then also my husband as a whole, if we're gonna dress up, we go all out. It's never like
I'm excited about
halfway.
this.
We go all out.
Really?
And so that's like one of my favorite things. And then my second one is Christmas. I love Christmas. It's always been such a big deal in my family. We just always get together and I just love it. It's just so cozy, the new pajamas and just like the excitement. Feeling like a little kid, but even when you're an adult.
Do you know that I actually told my children I wasn't going to do pajamas for them this year, and they were like, what? It's not even going to feel like Christmas.
I would have the same reaction.
I know.
So.
Okay. So now I know why. Now I know why. All of you out there that are thinking about like getting rid of the pajamas, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do the pajama tradition. Jodie.
Hi, my name is Jodie Lybarger, also an intern at Blue Bee. I'm also getting my master's in social work, and I'm excited to be here. My favorite holiday is also Christmas. I love Christmas. I've loved it since I was a kid. I love the traditions. I love getting together with family and just having a good time. I love buying presents for people. I like to think I'm really good at it. So
we're gonna find out.
I was gonna say
we're gonna find out, right, Miranda?
I know. What are you gonna get us?
Well, it's a surprise for everyone, including me. But yeah, I love Christmas. And yeah, excited to chat about all the holidays today.
I know this is gonna be kind of exciting. I'm a little bit excited because the next holiday that's coming up on our list is Halloween, and so we really want to particularly pay more attention to this one, although a lot of this stuff could be talked about with Thanksgiving or with Christmas, and so keep those in mind as we're talking more about Halloween, that you can throw those in there. More to come on Thanksgiving, a podcast, and more to come on Christmas, so watch out, they're coming, hold your horses. But today we're going to focus a little bit more on Halloween. I really want to just kind of present just a fun little thought here, is that, we really are trying to incorporate more of mental health awareness around the holiday season, and especially safety as well, right? And so today that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to kind of allow Miranda to kind of lead off with this. We're going to jump into a few things and have some discussions. We hope that you get to listen in on us. If you want to watch, we're really funny in person. You can watch us over at YouTube and find us under Therapist Table Talk for all of your fun watching needs. But if not, we'll be here on the podcast, listen to us, and hopefully we'll give you something to think about, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, yeah, so some things with Halloween that I feel like are not really something we think about, something that we're not very mindful about, is being very aware. Being aware of people that may have experienced trauma in the past or currently experiencing trauma, people with some phobias, people with maybe autism, and all these different things that can affect how people react to maybe some spooky stuff, maybe to some strobe lights. And just all these different things, and how we can be more mindful towards that, and how we can be mindful and helpful for those with these things, and helping them cope, helping them, okay, let's take a break, hey, let's find a space, so that we can kind of process and kind of just be aware, and just get more grounded. Some other things are some body dysmorphia, especially with costumes. Costumes look different on everyone, and just kind of how we can kind of make sure that it's not an expectation to look a certain way, and how to kind of navigate that, because it's a hard time.
Do you mean to say that Halloween time doesn't have to be sexy costume time?
Yes.
Because I feel I'm gonna be aware. I don't mind that people want to make it
Yes.
sexy costume time, but I feel very uncomfortable. I'm like that person that shows up to the parties and everybody's in sexy costume time, and then I show up in a big fuzzy bunny rabbit outfit. Like, that's me.
Hilarious costumes are my forte. I was Amanda Bynes' character from She's the Man, but dressed up with a wig. I had a tampon up my nose. Like, I went all out.
So funny.
So I'm like more about the embarrassing costumes. So I don't care.
Me too.
But if you want to, go for it. But it shouldn't be the expectation.
And if we do recognize that, how to make some comments or some, like, how to insert maybe some new thought patterns inside yourself of recognizing that what you bring to the table is very valuable, and whatever costume it is that you bring to that party is very valuable.
Yeah, I agree. And some other things are some maybe like anxiety for parents and for children. Like it could be scary to have your kids go knocking on doors, or it could be scary for the kid to say trick or treat or thank you. Like, it's a lot of social interaction that these parents are having. It's a lot of trust.
That is so true. And especially when you have like autistic children or children that have sensory issues, that can be really difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
Do that. And I think even as a host, like at a home, if you have kids that come trick-or-treating, to kind of be aware of that and to proceed cautiously. Like, maybe you might need to hand the candy to the parent instead of to the child. Yeah. I know that one time I was walking up to a door with some of my kids, and my kid was like, "No, I'm not going up there." And I'm like, "Dude, you look scary. You're in like a big, huge chainsaw massacre costume, and my child that's 3 is not going to come up to your door."
Yes.
But that person was like, "I'm not giving you candy if you don't come up to the door." And I'm like, "Oh, this is okay. Thanks.
Yes.
We'll be going to the next house." Like, but just kind of be aware of those things, and it's hard and it's scary, and we're trying to teach our children trust, and then we get mad at them when they don't trust everybody blindly, you know?
I think we're trying to teach them to trust and also to listen to their own needs.
Right.
Right? To be aware of their own needs.
I
and
love
to be aware of like, oh man, I really don't feel safe going up to that house. To be like, yeah, no, that's like totally fair. This is, you know, it's kind of intimidating. Like, you know, we don't want to create shame around that, right? And encourage them to, like, you know, disregard their needs and their comfort. So I think that's a really good example.
Or to
like,
stop trusting their whole inner voice inside of them, where they say, this is not safe, and if we're like, no, pushing, shoving, then they're going to mistrust themselves.
Right.
We don't want that either.
Right. And then that's confusing, because sometimes parents say it's not okay to talk to strangers.
But then you are sent out to go talk to strangers all night.
Right.
It's very confusing for a kid sometimes.
Yes. And I think sometimes just sitting down with your child and being like, hey, normally we have this rule. Tonight is one of those nights, and because of this, we're going to have some safety options, such as mom or dad or big brother that's going to be going along with you, or you'll be in a group of friends that can keep you safe.
Yeah, so like a friend's parent is the one kind of like just kind of chaperoning and hanging back, but also being there for the kids. Yeah. Another thing too is creating a very inclusive environment for Halloween. Like, there's so many kids that have different needs. Like, there are some that can't have all the candy, some that are shy, some that do have maybe autism and have some sensory issues, or have an issue with having to go up to a door, or some kids with some some severe social anxiety as well. And just being very mindful, very inclusive, and how we can kind of just make it a fun holiday for all kids. It's a super fun holiday, and we should be very mindful of that.
Well, and as an adult too, I feel like that's our responsibility. We need to be responsible for our own interactions and not. I just think, you know, let the child approach you. Let be like your experience with the scary adult costume. It's like those are really fun for us as adults, but recognizing that kids do have a lot more limitations, and whether it's, you know, a mental health issue, or, you know, we're talking sensory, we're talking also allergies, just to be mindful of that and recognize that as adults, we're the ones that have to kind of guide that and lead that and try to be good examples.
I love that. Should we also talk about the Teal Pumpkin Project? Jodie, what do you think?
Yeah, so there's this project that has kind of, I don't know who created it, but I know it's kind of going around the country, where if you put a teal colored pumpkin on your doorstep, it is a sign that you have treats that aren't food related. They aren't candy. You know, it can be stickers, it can be art supplies, it can be
little mini toys.
Yeah, like something that's just not candy or not food related. Because there are, as Miranda was saying, there are children who have food allergies, who maybe can't have those kinds of candies. And
do you have the sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Do you have the website that they can go to?
I
Because we were
do.
looking this up right before, and I thought it was fascinating. They also have like a map that you can register your address for people to actually come to your home if they're mapping out like a Halloween route that would be safe for them.
Yeah. So it looks like it's on, so foodallergy.org is the agency that hosts this project, but it's called the Teal Pumpkin Project. So if you just look up Teal Pumpkin Project, it'll take you to the food allergy research and education website, and it will give you examples on what it means. It will have the map where you can register your home if you want to put out a teal pumpkin for individuals with food allergies. You can register your home so that the kids can find you, and kind of give you some examples on what you can put in your little bucket.
That is so fun.
Yeah.
And when we're also talking about inclusion and Halloween, I also want to include just a fun little like prompt out there to be very socially aware of your children, and sending out a bunch of like Halloween party invitations at school, and making sure that like if we're going to do that, to make sure we invite the whole class, you know, or not sending those out at school, making sure that they're done differently in a way where other people don't feel that separation or that loss of inclusion, and just to be kind of mindful of other people's feelings on that. Is there any other inclusion that we kind of need to talk about?
I'm trying to think. I don't think I can think of another inclusion. I think another like example though is to just be like, if you're having a very scary, very haunted house theme for your house, I've seen people like have someone else down by the driveway of kids that can't quite handle the terrifying haunted house.
That's perfect.
That they still can get candy from that house, or a treat or a toy from that house, without having to go through that, especially if they have some sensory issues or some trauma they've dealt with, or some phobias that they just can't handle.
I love that.
That way it's still a very enjoyable holiday. They still get that experience, that candy or that treat, and then they can move on, and they don't feel like, oh, I was too scared, I don't even get candy from this house, and just start feeling bad, or maybe their friends start teasing them. And so
I've seen some adults or some houses kind of create a slide from the door down to the sidewalk. So they'll like put the candy and it'll go down the slide. That way it's fun for the kids and for the adults. So another
new
good
slides
option.
everywhere.
yeah, I feel like that started around COVID time, with like trying to keep the distance, but they still wanted to participate in this holiday and give these kids something fun.
Yeah,
so.
big huge PVC ramp going down. Can you hear me?
I've seen some very long ones. They have to do like a little like pole to like actually get it to come down or something. Very creative.
Yeah. So.
That's really awesome. I love that. What a great idea. So many great ideas. Where else do we have as far as like mental health and safety?
I think some social anxiety is a big one, or some body dysmorphia is a really big one as well. It's just making sure that as parents we're talking to our kids of, hey, what are you comfortable with?
Mm-hmm.
With going up to these doors and everything? Are you comfortable with saying trick or treat? Are you comfortable with saying thank you? Where can I help you in all that? I think that's a big one that parents can do, is just being very mindful of their kids and their needs.
Or the Halloween party that's at the school, and the parents want their child to wear this certain thing, and the children maybe don't want to or don't like the costume that the parents have, given them. And so being mindful of letting them in on the costume shopping, and sometimes it goes like this. I don't know if you've ever had this problem, but the kids are like, I'm so excited to wear that, and they buy the costume and they're all excited, and then the day out they're like, oh, I don't know if I can wear it. Like, I feel uncomfortable.
What if no one else is dressing up?
Yeah.
Then I'm the only one dressing up and everything. And I think it can be a good resource too, to have maybe the numbers of their parents in the classroom of hey, my kid's getting a little nervous about dressing up. Are your kids dressing up? Can you send pictures of their costumes so we can be like, oh, that's so cool, and maybe trying to find ways to get them excited again about it.
I love that. Or even gathering together to go shopping together, or find that costume together.
And then meeting all up at the front of the school, and you all walk in together, so you're not feeling like, oh, I'm so I'm only dressed up and just kind of walking in alone. But it's
the worst walk.
I'm with all of my friends. We're all dressed up. We're all confident, and we get to go have fun today.
Right. Maybe that's a carpool day. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Carpool day on Halloween day. But it's things that we just don't think about as parents or as people that are navigating the Halloween holiday. And I think that is so important, that we just be aware and have, ability to change things if we need to be accommodating or helpful in some sort of way.
I think another thing too is being very mindful in the consumption of candy. I think is another thing too, is everything in moderation, right? And I think as parents, we can kind of approach it in a very delicate manner. We don't have to say, oh, you can't have candy, you can only have this much, but kind of mapping out with your kid and not putting shame around it, but just mindfulness, I think, is a really big thing.
Yes, I love that, when we can say, hey, these are some concerns that I have about your consumption of the candy, or what are my expectations are with this much candy. How about we choose out our favorite pieces, and then maybe there's all sorts of places that will you can donate candy. Our office takes candy, and we have it everywhere. So
everywhere.
Yes. And so something like that you can take the candy to another place, or a shelter, or somewhere where people don't get candy maybe as much, and that could be a really great thing. I do know that there are some people who offer hey, I'll give you $20 for your whole bag of candy, or $10, right? And so there's other options that could be out there too, as far as being mindful of that. But I also want to put a little bit of a plug out there for parents to not really make that a mandatory option. Give your kids a buy-in on it of why that's a really great option, but then let them choose from it. It can be very valuable for your kid to get really sick that year and see the benefit of it. But then feel the autonomy of really getting to make that choice for themselves. And then sometimes we're like, no, I should have, as a parent, not let them go in that deep or get that hurt or get sick. I need to be a good parent. But don't forget that being a good parent can let them make their own choices and fall and get bruised. So.
Well, and one thing I think about when I think about Halloween and all the candy, I'm thinking that the consequence for a child to kind of overindulge at that age is pretty minimal. Right? They get sick, they get a tummy ache, oh, they have a headache, right? They have that sugar high, the sugar rush. But as we get older and we don't learn some of those habits, some of those skills, because we've made the decision on our own, I think sometimes the consequence gets a little greater. Where, in my own personal life, even using things like overindulgence as a coping mechanism, those are things that, as a child, I think that maybe some of those decisions were made for me as a child, and I didn't really learn some of those habits, and I didn't have that autonomy. And so I think, again, the consequence as a child to overindulge, not a big deal. But later on in life, it's the consequences can be a little greater. So maybe give them the choice right now.
Yeah, rather than have them seek it out later. I mean, I don't know about any of you, but we never had sugary cereals at our house. And because we never had that, what do you think happened when I went and hung out with my friends? I did. Yep. And so that's just a thing to think about too, is maybe figuring out some moderation in some things, so that, because if you think you're teaching your child at home not to have those things, that could be a possibility that they're going somewhere else. And it's really weird that Samantha wants to always play over at Jackie's
Or
house.
sneaking,
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
sneak things.
Or they're hiding things under their
Yeah.
beds, right?
Mhm.
And so maybe teaching them the why, but then allowing them the autonomy to make the choice for themselves.
If they're, I mean, at an age appropriate.
Right.
Age appropriate. of
Right.
course.
Right.
Age appropriate. And knowing your child the way that you know your child. Like that might not be a possibility for some people because they know their child wouldn't be able to manage that in a healthy way. But, you know, it's always a great idea to try it and see and then go from there. And of course, we're not telling you not to do it or to do it. It's up to you.
It's just the perfect time to talk about autonomy and like teach your children autonomy and mindfulness, and it's just
The why
fosters
behind
that
things.
awareness, the why,
Exactly.
right? It's like not this thing is better than this thing, or don't do that thing, or do that thing. It's just your child is going to grow up to be an independent adult. Like, how can we lay that foundation?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
good. I love that.
Yep, that's a beautiful thing. All right. Anything else we have?
I think that's kind of all we have.
All right, Halloween safety and mental health mindfulness. I mean, I think that the major number one important thing when I think about Halloween and mental health is I really think about having the conversation. Like if you're not communicating with your children, you're not communicating with your partner, your expectations for Halloween, you're just kind of expecting everyone to go along with the flow of whatever you happen to plan, it might blow up in your face.
Yeah.
And so some of the mental health awareness that I would like to put out there is to really have the conversation, set the expectation, involve the people. If you're going to be really disappointed that your family doesn't do this certain thing, then you might want to have a conversation with your family and set forth some foundations about doing that thing. I think that it's really important for the conversations to happen. And if you feel like you can't have that conversation, I want you to evaluate the why. What's getting in the way? Why do I feel like I can't have that conversation? And maybe talk to somebody about some different strategy points to use in having that conversation that could be helpful for you. So that's kind of it, I believe, on Halloween mental health, talking to your children, talking to your partners, setting the expectation, making it happen for yourself. I think that's one thing too with Halloween. Sometimes it can be super disappointing. And if I don't make the event happen, and then I can't really be mad at everyone else for not making it happen for me.
Yeah.
So really setting those expectations for yourself and really putting in the action towards accomplishing those things could be really great. Well, I think that this is so awesome. What are you guys going to be for Halloween?
I haven't decided yet.
wow.
I have to figure out family
it's still too
costume
soon.
now.
Too
We
soon.
do
right?
this thing.
Still September.
We do this thing at Blue Bee where we have a murder mystery dinner party and we send out characters, and this year it's casino theme. So I'm really excited, especially with our people that really love to dress up here and come in character. Last year it was such a hit. We were all such in character. It was so much fun. And so, you know, maybe we don't have our costumes yet, but we're gonna figure them out. I kind of think that I love the joy off of Inside Out.
Cute.
I just think
Yeah.
that is so
Cute.
cute.
I
I
like
just
that.
need like a
Very
blue
cute.
wig that just goes up all cutesy and throw that cute little dress on. I'm all about that. Find
That
some-
could be an office
That could be,
costume.
Yeah, we could-
HB.
Especially now with
Yeah.
Inside Out
watch
too, with
out.
all the more emotions
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
Right. I
So
think that's so fun. Well, we hope that your Halloween is a great one and that you really incorporate mental health awareness into your Halloween holiday spirit as well as safety. And until next time, we're so glad that you joined us here. You can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all sorts of other places that could be helpful in you viewing all of our fun podcasts that we have. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.